So here is an important question for marketers. What makes that optimum relationship between the brand and the agency? It is, says my guest, Chris Primos from Blast Brand Catalysts, a state of managed flux. In other words, there's got to be a line of tension all the time. Is that what you're saying?
There will be. I think that it's quite daunting, I think, for the first time when an agency joins a client takes on an agency because you marry for the right reasons. But you never know what's going to come around the corner. You have an objective and you know where you want to go. But the brand grows and markets change, and you need a team, obviously, for the long term to dig in. But I think you need, where the flux comes in is understanding that you need to be flexible and agile to adapt as markets change. Your client will need that.
Apart from that, Chris, though, you also say it's a cross-pollination of personalities and skill sets. What I'm interested in is, I get the skill sets, that's important, but it's finding the right people, but also at a point taking the right people out and perhaps replacing them with other right people at some point. That's also the state of flux, isn't it?
Jeremy, there are two options I think you can consider for a client. You can either, if you're a bigger brand, you probably want to engage a bigger, larger integrated agency with all those the composites inside. Or you could elect to go for the cherry pick and grab your niche specialists and experts and bring them in together. Importantly, I think whether it's an integrated agency or your assembly of niche specialists, it really is about the caliber, the people in the team that are going to make the difference for your brand. I think that's what clients look for.
Try as a small agency yourself, Chris, to make the case for the niche expertise, because often managing the niche expertise causes marketers a huge problem.
Headaches, yes. It's a nice ideal to have all the best of breed.
And when it works beautifully.
It does. Right at the beginning, egos don't work well in a collaborative office. But again, somebody does need to conduct to that orchestra, so to say. That could be the client themselves. If they're very well versed and strategically versed from a marketing point of view, and they know exactly what they need.
But we know these days from the longevity of marketers that inevitably that's not going to happen.
There can be a churn. We've been fortunate to work with owner-managed businesses, so it's quite a different dynamic. So from a corporate point of view, you find there is a churn. There's a corporate, people revolving doors and people at high levels.
Marketers stick around these days, average 2.5 years is the figure I've read. Yeah. Marketing directors.
Possibly, yes. Yes, and people have careers and they want to move up. They have their own agenda and corporate ladder. But I think from a point of view of, again, getting back to who holds that collaborative effort together, I think from a client working relationship point of view, I think it needs to be for the business, for the brand. So people, as you mentioned right at the beginning, people come and go. So I think there's an opportunity from the agency side, essentially, to make sure that that cohesive team remains in place. Again, to think beyond just the immediate exigency of you have your objectives and your marketing strategy for the year. What happens when you do become successful? Be careful what you wish for. So when things are good is when you need to be prepared for when things need to be better.
You make another interesting point, that there's got to be a level of stamina and fitness within that relationship. And we're not talking about going to Planet Fitness or Virgin Active 4 times a week. Or maybe we are, I don't know.
Yes. Certainly stamina and fitness in terms of, again, what we were just chatting about.
Well, it's intellectual stamina.
Of course, but it's anticipating what you're going to need coming up. A collaborative environment, in a good working relationship, doesn't always just necessarily grow. You have project-based stuff where you want to bring on your niche experts and specialists, that then fall away. I think what it needs from a cohesive, collaborative point of view, somebody in the middle who's conducting this orchestra, is always applying yourself to the next wave.
What you're also not telling me is about the honesty in the relationship, because you also make the point that all of this needs constant review and application. It's the word review that interests me, because I don't think that there is enough honest review in brand building.
I think you're right. And we could afford to be a little bit more honest. And I think collaborative environments work better when there is where we play open cards. I think when you've got a lot of businesses working on a brand, there's a little bit of jostling perhaps for your slice of the pie or that bit of the budget. But if you've got people around the table and you can all fight for the right reasons, then I think you've got people who are concentrated on the brand. And I think you've got the right energy coming out of that.
Just a final question. You also talk about fresh and even naive thinking around the table. Fresh, I get. Naive, what, people who know nothing? They can add a different dynamic to the relationship? In what respect?
I think it's somebody who comes from a completely curveball point of view. Yeah. So we're in danger as experts of liking what we know. That's what happens.
And you default to the template.
Correct, but it's important to have that. But to have somebody who is the disruptor in the room, somebody who does think differently, somebody who does beg the question, I think it's very healthy for a brand, so that we at least keep a freshness and a lightness and actually an inspiring environment. All right, Chris, thank you very much indeed. Some interesting insights there. Chris Primos with us from Blast Brand Catalyst. Thank you indeed. Thank you.